Rise and Shine Rwanda, it's Tuesday, the 15th of September.
Coming up on today's Rise and Shine Rwanda, we preview the upcoming Rwanda Global Youth Convention.
Same storyline for Amavubi as they head down to Gabon.
And what's hot right now, we have all the details.
Good morning, it's just after 7 o'clock in the morning and you're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda with me, Regis Isheja.
And me, Fidelis Karangwa.
And over the next hour, we'll bring you all the latest news, sports and business headlines from here in Rwanda and around the world. Now, Fidelis, what do you have in the world of the money?
You know, in the money, it's Tuesday, and then on Tuesdays normally I'm in a giving mood, you know what I mean? So obviously I'm going to have the people from Aquila on the couch with us. Always very interesting topics to talk about them.
All right, well, sports. Arnold, what do you have for us?
Well, Rayon Sports finally gets a coach, a new coach. We are just 10 days away from the National League, so we preview that. And then we look at Amavubi's poor performance once again, same style, same scoreline against Gabon that they had against Ghana. And the San Marino Grand Prix, Valentino Rossi is in big trouble.
Absolutely. Well, all that and more still to come. But first, Rise and Shine story of the day. The International Rwanda Youth for Development, in collaboration with the High Commission of Rwanda to Canada, are hosting the Rwanda Global Youth Convention in Montreal at the end of the month, an opportunity for young hopefuls in the diaspora and success stories in Rwanda to network and share experiences. And it is also a forum for those who have returned home and experienced firsthand the transformation of the country to share their journey with fellow young Rwandans. Take a look.
The Rwandan youth, we are stuck between an era of impossibility
and possibility,
negativity
and positivity,
hostility
and hospitality,
irresponsibility
and responsibility,
blame games and accountability. Ibaze nawe.
Development Convention is scheduled to take place in Montreal, Canada later this month. The delegates expected to discuss business development in Rwanda.
My job today is to challenge you, but more importantly, also to remind you of the immense opportunities that are within our reach.
It's been organized in collaboration with the government and Rwandan groups across the world.
We are a government, we are an administration that cares deeply about our people. We want to give you as a message that you truly matter. Young people of Rwanda matter.
The convention will discuss and propose solutions for encouraging more Rwandan youth to participate in their country's economic development. This will provide another avenue for Rwandan youth, Rwandan and Canadian leaders, and friends of Rwanda across the globe to discuss issues, devise and implement resolutions in the development of Rwanda. This should be a debate first.
Rwanda itajengwa na nani vijana, Rwanda itajengwa na sisi wenyewe, Rwanda itajengwa na nani vijana, twese
itajengwa na sisi wenyewe.
Oh, Kigali itajengwa na nani vijana?
Kigali itajengwa na sisi
Twongere, twongere.
wenyewe.
Kigali itajengwa na nani vijana?
Kigali itajengwa na sisi wenyewe.
Ah, sisi wenyewe.
Iye, sisi wenyewe. Iye.
Well, welcome to the show, Louis.
Thank you.
It's great to have you. Now, this is something that's going to be epic for those that were in Dallas and could experience what it was like to have the youth be part of this thing where they actually all get to mingle, the youth from Rwanda and the Rwandan youth from all over the world, and even friends of Rwanda, right?
Sure, definitely. Again, it's another excitement moment for people in North America, and because we are having, as you said, a lot of youth there, and with a lot of energy, so you can imagine music, fun, and yeah.
So this is going to go from the 25th to the 27th,
Yes.
3-day, a whole weekend, where you'll be sharing your experiences, right?
Yes.
You're part of one of the panels, and you get to talk about your success story. You're a Rwandan that used to live in Canada.
Yeah.
You're now in Rwanda.
Yes.
What has being in Rwanda been like for you? Because it's 20 years in Canada. It's a long time.
Definitely.
Right, so you're coming back. How has it felt like?
Well, it feels great. Of course, you have to face some challenges, like reconnecting with your country, relearning how people works here. But again, it's a country that is really reborning from the ashes. So definitely meanings everything that is rebuilding, there's opportunity to be part of that movement of rebuilding. And also opportunities, when I mean opportunities, not just saying patriotism, it's simply also saying making money. Everything's pretty new here, it's going fast, so you got skills, come here, boom, the next billionaire.
Now, when you'll be talking to the youth over there, whether it's
Yes.
the youth from Canada, from the States, or from other parts of the world,
Yeah.
you'll be sharing your experience. Now,
Yeah.
the one thing you'll tell them to incite them to actually come back home,
Yeah.
invest in the country, or invest what they've been able to do over there that
Yes.
the country can actually benefit. What will you be telling them?
Well, there's a lot of things, first of all, but if I have to tell them to come right now, is because there's not a lot of competition yet. And that's really a good thing to have, not a lot of competition.
So 2020 will be a bit late, right?
Oh, a little bit too late, because definitely people are opening like 5 or 6 startups at the same time in 6 different areas. Meaning in 2020, this person could be the next, monopoly of Kigali. So you have to come right now. And we are lucky to have a government, or let's say leaders, that really are supportive in terms of youth becoming owners of the country. So yes, I would like really to take advantage of that kind of support, but also infrastructures that are pretty new. Everything's pretty new in Rwanda. So yeah, it's the moment, not in 2020.
Now, when you're also talking to the youth over there, when you're exchanging, experiences and the likes,
Yes.
You're a young man yourself here in Rwanda. You own a business. You're an
Yeah.
entrepreneur. When you're talking to them, will you tell them that the business atmosphere here is very conductive
Yes.
for the youth? Will you tell them that when you want to start a business here, as a 20-something-year-old, as a 30-something-year-old,
Yes.
it's complicated? And will you tell them that when you're coming from school, it's even more complicated? What will you be telling them exactly?
Okay, actually I'll be a panelist in the forum they called The Role of the Youth in the Development of the Country. So definitely I will share my experience. What is the role I'm playing right now in participating in the development of the country? For instance, when I came here, of course, there are challenges. When you finish school, it's not a challenge of saying I don't have a degree or I have a degree. It's simply reconnecting with how things are working here. It's totally different from the North Americans' way of working. However, my role as a young business in Rwanda is definitely I'm not only creating jobs, but also I bring innovation, dreams. Like the youth has dreams. Because the older you get, you think not really want to go into dreams. But when you are young, you are able to say, you know what, I have no responsibility, let me try this, let me try that. And we are lucky to have an environment that allows you to try literally whatever you want, as long as, of course, it's legal. But you can try whatever you want, and the government will support you. You want to sell, let's say, you want to go to the moon, okay, let's do it. So that kind of environment mixed with the dreams for youth, definitely is going to be something to 2020. Yeah.
As we just saw in the report, I mean, in Dallas, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Louise Mushikiwabo, was talking about the fact that this is an administration here in Rwanda that really cares about the youth, that understands what the youth mean to a country, especially to a rebuilding country like this one that really wants to reach a certain level. Now, the Rwandans living abroad, that message, do you feel like they've understood? I mean, among your friends, among your family, among people that you know, do you feel like they're coming back in big numbers, or they're still yet to be convinced?
I think we're a good example. Me and you, 1 year later, we're not here.
Right.
So here we are. So we are a lot coming back, and again, I thank also the leaders of this country, because if you look, the Dallas convention was like, what, 2 months ago? And then youth convention in Montreal. And then a week after the Rwanda Day. So you can see really Rwanda is really concerned by having its diaspora and especially its youth, because 2 events in 2 months, even if it's not the government organizing the other event, but still, it shows how the government or the leaders or elders of this country wants really to see the youth taking care of the future of this country. Yes.
Now, those coming from the United States, Europe, and other parts of the world who will be descending upon Montreal to share into what, you know, the youth in Rwanda has been able to accomplish, what would you tell them to expect once they get to Montreal? Is it to go get some poutine? Is it what is the atmosphere going to be like for those 3 days?
Well, Montreal, it's a modern state, I mean city, but also it's cold a little bit. However, it will be very warm with all that kind of energy together.
Right.
So they have to also experience a modern city where everything works well. And also, again, also to open their eyes and see, because Montreal is kind of mixed, French, like European style, mixed with Americans. So you can see how a nation can determine its future. No, you don't need to be American. You don't need to be Europeans. You can create your own identity. And I think Montreal is a good example to see how a French province around, I mean, in a sea of English people only, has created his own identity and modern city. So it's a good example for us when we are trying to determine our own way of living. We don't need to be Americans necessary or to speak or to act like French people. We can be Rwandans and accomplish great things as Montreal people or Quebecois people have done that.
Now, I've spoke to a couple of my people in Canada who I'm still in touch with, and they're very excited about hosting this. You have Carrie Ottawa, Carrie Montreal, Carrie Edmonton. I think there's a lot of people. Have you been in touch with them, and who would you say is really working hard, are really behind this whole thing, besides the High Commission and obviously the Association of the Youth?
Yes.
Who else is really behind this movement?
Well, there's nobody who owns this event. That's what's actually fantastic about this event. You cannot say it's the government. Government's a partner. You cannot say it's Kerry. Kerry is a partner. You cannot say it's the people, the 2 persons who initiate this event. Not at all. It's like they're all on the same level, and everybody's putting his maximum to make it happen. So that's why I'm saying the magic really is happening, and you can see everybody wants the youth to be part of this. So nobody actually there are even some local banks here who are sponsoring this event, like Equity Bank and other organizations from Rwanda. So you can see there's no one saying, hey, I'm the one director managing everything. Just people go together and they say, you know what, we've seen how it was great in Dallas. Let's redo it in Montreal. And again, which amazing, it's like people from Americans, from Europe are supporting this event. So nobody actually is owning this event. It's a get-together of youth with, of course, some elders helping us to not go crazy. And yeah, it's happening.
Well, I trust the youth in Canada. They'll be fantastic hosts.
Definitely.
And with people like you going over there to share, you know, the success stories from here, and actually that it's actually worth it coming back home and invest in the country. I'm pretty sure it's gonna go well.
I'm sure too. I'm so excited to be there.
Louis Antoine, it's a pleasure again to have you on the show. You're a regular. You should have like your own spot on the couch.
You should pay me actually for that.
We actually should. Let's talk. But you're the one making a lot of money, so we'll talk.
Okay. Yes, we'll see.
All right. While you're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda, do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Here is to traveling and saving. Starting 1st of April to the 1st of June, travel with Rwanda and take advantage of our reduced fares and enjoy our world-class services in great comfort and safety.
Fly our dream to the heart of Africa.
You're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda. Time now for business news. Fidelis Karangwa has the details.
Business stories making headlines today. Over 120 Rwandan agronomists have left for Israel, where they will undergo an 11-month training program in modern farming practices and business management. The State Minister for Agriculture and Animal Resources, Mr. Tony Sanganira, said the training will enable the participants to acquire better skills and innovation ideas that will help fast-track Rwanda's agriculture transformation. The agronomists will be training at Israel's Agro Studies International Center, where they'll mainly focus on horticulture farming, plant protection, soil conservation, and irrigation techniques. Other areas are computer economics, project planning, post-harvest handling, and livestock-related courses. This is the fourth time that Rwanda is sending agronomists to Israel to train since 2012, of which 300 have already graduated. Governments in the region have increased their efforts to improve energy output through several multi-million-dollar projects. Uganda, Rwanda, Tanzania, and Kenya have several ongoing power upgrading projects that will see them increase their electricity outputs by the end of the year. Rwanda announced that it will meet its 2017 targets of giving 70% of the country's population access to the main grid up from the current 22%, as it projects an electricity demand of 563 megawatts in the next 3 years to be generated from the generation mix of hydromethane, geothermal, and solar, gradually phasing out thermal power by the end of 2017. And Kenya, Tanzania, and Rwanda are funding a campaign to promote the use of a single tourist visa and identity cards for regional travel. The campaign, to be launched by the three countries' tourism boards, targets immigration officers, travel agency, airlines, and tour operators. However, the uptake of the single tourist visa and use of IDs for the regional travel remains low, blamed on the lack of awareness and poor information among travel and tourism, trade, and hospitality providers. It is expected that once this campaign is completed, it will increase the rate at which both tourism and business are done in these countries. And joining us now in studio is Ituze Christian from Makila.net, here to share with us the topics that are trending on their websites. Now, Christian, welcome back on the couch this week. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great as always.
Yeah? You're looking great too, energetic and all.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Perfect. Now, I know you're a giver and you always want to start our viewers off with a little giveaway. And I understand today we're going to focus more on people who started business and that kind of stuff. So what do you have for us?
Well,
the jobs we offer.
Definitely, yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're always here providing opportunities, job opportunities. We're not the one who give out the job, but we are the one who spread the word.
Yes.
Okay, so let's treat. It's a new company, and it is looking for a junior research associate and a research associate. Those guys must be keen in business. They must know their numbers. So if anyone out there knows everything about business, about finance and research, okay, this is the right part now. These guys, they are more into, they value the progression in the corporation. So whenever you reach out a certain level, you're always upgraded.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, definitely. So if you're a research associate, you might become the next project manager. Yeah. So to become a research associate,
hard work really pays off in this
it pays. It definitely, yeah.
Yes.
So if you would like to apply for the job, indeed, to be a junior role, you need a bachelor's degree, just a bachelor's degree. Yeah, and some analytical skills and personal skills. But you also need to know something about statistical softwares, to be able to use them. And to be a research associate, you need a master's degree. That's another level. In the relevant field, and 1 year of work experience.
Nice.
Yeah. So these are good.
So all the graduates have a really good opportunity with these jobs right now.
Yeah. However, even though we're talking about the jobs in Rwanda, these are the spots in Rwanda. But on Aquila, you'll find more around East Africa.
So if you want to travel, expand your horizon.
Yeah. There's a lot of jobs
out.
on here that includes the whole East Africa.
Nice, nice. Now, I know last week that you had a post on your website about what it takes for someone to work in the UN. Now, everyone always thinks working in the UN, you have to have like a PhD in something and you have to be a big deal. But we found out that's not the case. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, okay. It's a good thing you mentioned it. Yeah, the UN, okay, the United Nations. When you say you work for the United Nations, wow, that's the prestige.
Yes.
There's a lot of money involved, and a lot of perks. So, yeah, we featured 2 persons who work there, and they told us about what you need and what it takes to work for the UN. So, we found out that you don't need to have any connection there.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. When you know what you're doing, and you apply, you don't have to those kind of who you know thing, you know, someone who will say something about you. You don't need that. No. So well, it's tough, and it's really somehow. What can I say? To work for the UN, you will need to be patient. You see, because this guy, one of those guys who gave us a testimony about how he worked, well, he told us that he had to wait for 6 months without a news, you know?
Before they could tell him you can come.
Yeah, you can come to do the interview or something.
That's not easy.
Yeah, you've got to be patient. He just told us that he had even forgotten that he had applied. So yeah, you will need to be patient, and if by luck you're selected, you need to prove that you're worth it. Yeah. So there's a lot of guidelines.
Viewers should definitely go and check this article out, especially for those who are trying to get a job and they're thinking they've been waiting for so long. And after you read this, you might become a bit more patient. Definitely. Now I know there's a topic that everyone's been talking about. Now we know grocery shopping, especially in Rwanda and Kigali, has always been, you get your money, you get your car, you get your motor, you walk to the market and buy stuff yourself. But that's about to change because a new company is coming here to change how we do grocery shopping. Now tell us a bit about that.
Sure. Yeah, there is this new company, this new service, and it's blowing people's mind. It is Get It, just the name. It's not complicated. Okay. What you were saying about the car, the keys, the everything.
Yes.
Remove them, okay, and you
save,
just take
save your gas.
Definitely, save everything and sit down, text, and get everything you want. So it is a company that is providing the delivery service that brings you everything you need, and was started by this American woman, Lauren Russell, and she when she came in Rwanda, she was with Nike, and when she came, we were talking about a lot of opportunities in Rwanda. She saw a great opportunity. As you were mentioning, that Rwanda is a country of opportunities, and she decided to stay and start something. Well, she started it in last October, and she kept it going even now. So for the next week, when you log on, you'll find more about this news, and it's a very good one.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Christian, for that. And we always look forward to having you again next week, as usual. Very good stuff.
I'll be here with a lot of news.
Okay,
thank you.
Well, the update today is business headlines. Posting is coming up next in just a minute with Ono Kwizera.
Welcome back to Rise and Shine Rwanda. Time now for your sports news. I'm Arnold Quizera. Now, Rayon Sports Football Club are set to appoint Frenchman David Donadei as the club's new head coach ahead of the 2015-2016 Azam Rwanda Premier League season that starts on September the 18th. Donadei is in the country to finalize talks with the Blues and put pen to paper, but he did not specify the details of what would likely be a 2-year contract. He will be replacing Jean-Baptiste Kairanga, who first joined the club in 2004 for 1 year, leading them to the 2004-2005 league title before he was eventually sacked. Moving on to MotoGP, defending world champion Marc Marquez of Spain on his Honda won an enthralling San Marino Moto Grand Prix as Yamaha's Valentino Rossi blew his chances with tactical errors and teammate Jorge Lorenzo crashed out. The decision by the Honda rider to switch to slick tires on a drying Misano World Circuit Macho Simoncelli after earlier rain led to his 4th win of the season in front of British riders Bradley Smith on a Yamaha and Scott Redding on a Honda. Redding rode a remarkable race after dumping his bike in the dirt only to get back up and finish 3rd, which completed the first time 2 British riders had finished on the podium since 1979. And finally, Rwanda's goalkeeping woes were once again on display at the Amahoro Stadium on Saturday as a team comprised of locally based players succumbed to another loss, but this time to Gabon in an international friendly.
It felt like a classic case of deja vu at the Amahoro Stadium, as an Amavubi outfit made of only locally based players put up a similar performance to the team that struggled against Ghana the week before. Coach John Marcus made a number of enforced changes to the starting 11, with 6 of the starters against Gabon having missed out in the Black Stars clash. It was a chance for the French players to raise their hands and force their way into the Irishman's long-term plans. But just like a week back, Rwanda's goal-scoring and goalkeeping woes came back to haunt the Wassies. Amavubi gave away a needless free kick just outside the box and upset Gabon international Egozu, who found the left side of Eric in the finished goal for a 1-0 scoreline. But despite this, Coach Marcus is optimistic about his side.
The first half wasn't good enough. Our players, I think that's the worst we've played since I've came to Rwanda. The first half really wasn't good enough, and I think the players were very clear on that at half-time. We weren't happy, and we made 3 changes. And, you know, just the whole emphasis in the second half was better. I still don't think the second half was as good as we can be. I think it was still only at maybe 60 or 70%, but, you know, for me, I think we deserve the result because of the first half. You can't play like that for 45 minutes of football and expect to win football matches. Yes, I think we should have scored at the end. I don't see the difference between the goal that Ernest has scored and the one that Jack scored against Ethiopia a week ago, where he's went up, he hasn't lifted his hands, he's jumped tall with the goalkeeper and he's got his head to it and he's put it in. Yes, there's contact, but football is a contact sport, so he's not raised his hands. I don't see the foul. And the free kick, the linesman hasn't given it in the first half, and he's the guy with the best view on the pitch. I don't know whether it was in or out. I don't know whether, you know, Bakami's in or out of the box from where I'm stood. But if I don't know whether he's in or out of the box, the referee can't know whether he's in or out of the box. The only person who can is the linesman. So I think that was unfortunate, but overall, first half not good enough, second half better. We've hit the post, we've had a goal disallowed. But it's a hard lesson for the players that if you come and play against reasonably good teams, they'll punish you for not being at your best from the first minute. So
once again, a late start did not matter as the West African side held on for the 1-0 win. Arnold Quizera, Rise and Shine, Rwanda.
All right, Arnold. So we thought it will end with Ghana, but the wars are, you know, they keep happening to Rwanda. What's wrong at the moment?
I think our goalkeeping troubles are easy on display. Eric Ndaishimie, you know, everyone calls him an experienced custodian, but there is a reason why he has not been a starter for the Amavubi for a very long time. I think Coach Johnny McKinstry expressed it very well in that press conference, saying that this was the worst performance from Rwanda ever since he took up the reins as the national team coach. But blame has been put on the pitch, as has been the case, but this is the same pitch that the Gabon players are also using, and they were able to string about 5, 6, 7 passes together. Now there were some changes in the squad that played, they were not without the experienced internationals, but majority of the crop of players that took part or were in the squad for that game against Gabon are the players who are going to be playing in that Chan squad, because it's for only locally based players. We thought he could give a rest to the likes of Jacques Tuyisenge, Yannick Mukunzi, but with the absence of Mugiraneza in the middle of the park, he brought in Jihad Bizimana, the APR midfielder, and it wasn't as creative because people felt Jihad could have started the game against Ghana, but he didn't raise his hand and say, I'm up here and I can play at this level. So that causes more headache to the coach, who at the moment looks like he doesn't have squad depth. Because if you have Ernest Sujira as your starting striker, then it's a laughable matter, because he is not going to score the goals. He is not scoring the goals either at club level or at international level. Apart from him possessing an aerial threat, the coach needs to define what does Rwanda want to play like going forward. Are we going to be throwing that ball up in the air, or are we going to play a little bit of the slick passing? Because at the beginning of his tenure, you felt Rwanda were playing more of a 4-3-3 system, but now as it goes all out, it looks like it's a 4-5-1 with one target man up front in Ernest Sujira, and as we saw earlier against Ghana with Quinton. So that leaves the striker up front very, very isolated in so many situations. And with the attacking threat, you see Michel Rusheshangoga going forward a couple of times, but then that also exposes his midfield. Yannick Mukunzi looks to not be on form in that midfield as well. So you feel the coach needs to rest a few of those players and then bring some freshness in the squad. There are some young players out there who are putting up their hands. You have Kevin Muhire, who has just signed for APR from Isonga Football Club. You have Savion Shuti, who has also just joined Rayon Sports Football Club. I think some of these young players can try to play that initial game. He wanted to play with a 4-3-3 formation. They may not be good defensively, but they give you that much needed attacking threat. He brought on Isaiah in the second half. And you could see there was a more compact, he can hold up the ball better than Ernest Sujira. And I think, to be honest, Sujira's days as a starting player in the Amavubi fold should be numbered unless he picks up his socks going forward. But for the goalkeeping crisis, we only pray that Ndoli gets back to form and puts some competition in that department. Olivier Kwizera is the best keeper we still have in this country, but he looks to have that total lack of concentration when it matters most in in the match. And Eric didn't seem to defer, also conceding a similar goal, from that free kick from Ernest Wanzongo, the Gabonian midfielder, to score. It was a similar goal to what we considered against the Black Stars a week before.
Now, moving on to Rayon Sport, their head coaching problems have been well documented on this show. Now, the fact that they have David Donadei coming, a Frenchman, a coach, what is that going to change?
I think first kudos to them for getting a coach. That's a step in itself. But does it give him enough time to work with a new crop of players? Because he must have a very different mentality to what they want to play. They have less than 5 days to the start of the Azam League, but their game against Marines takes place 7 days from now away at the Tam Tam Stadium. But I would have Rayon Sports as underdogs going into that fixture. When you look at the Marine squad, they have been together for a very good time. They are under the tutelage of one coach. They're very organized, being funded by the Ministry of Defense. But when you look at Rayon Sports Football Club, thankfully they have not done the old wine in a new bottle scenario whereby they're bringing back an old guard. There was talk of bringing back Gomez. There was talk of, picking up a few of their left coaches, as we've seen them do over the past couple of seasons. Yeah, but you felt it was kind of unfair to Jean-Baptiste Kairanga. He led them to the Peace Cup final. He came back and handled a team that was in disarray, a team that has sold its entire 8 of its starting 11 players. You know, you have the likes of Jihad leaving, you have the likes of Anne Foster leaving, you have the likes of Sibomana leaving, Faustin, also their captain, leaving for Gor Mahia in Kenya. So you felt they're in a rebuilding process. They have brought in a couple of exciting players, Kevin Muhire, Niyoshuti, players who you feel can, you know, try to bring back that old flame to Rayon Sports Football Club. I don't see them being competitive at the beginning of the season. I have them as outside contenders. In fact, to me, I feel they will be lucky to get into the top 4 with the level of organization at Police Football Club, at AS Kigali, and of course the league defending champions, APR Football Club.
All right, moving on to you know, Marc Marquez, and you know, you talked about him a couple weeks ago, saying he was probably going to end at number 3 this season. His latest win, what does he tell you?
His latest win puts him at 4 wins for the season. That's at par with Valentino Rossi, who's the world leader at 264 points. The Yamaha rider behind him is George Lorenzo. His nemesis, namesake, teammate George Lorenzo there with 218 points. Now Marc Marquez at 184 points, 2 races to go. I don't think he has a chance despite winning the San Marino Grand Prix. The San Marino Grand Prix holds very good memories for Rossi, being that that's where he got his first win in over 15 Grand Prix races last year. And that was rejuvenated his come back to form. He is still the greatest rider in MotoGP history, something that maybe Marquez will eclipse later in his career. But right now, Valentino Rossi, I don't understand why he had to have a change of tires, especially after that 11th lap at the San Marino Grand Prix, because in switching tires, it had rained and he took on the wet surface tires. I don't know what he was going for, either maybe to slide off, but that affected him and he eventually finished in 5th position. George Lorenzo, also tactical errors. He failed to finish the race, which was an advantage to Valentino Rossi. But going into the last 2 races, I think it's going to be between the 2 Yamaha riders. Daniel Pedrosa also has not had a good season in his Honda. So the Honda boys in Marc Marquez and Daniel Pedrosa don't feel they can be able to give competition for the two Yamaha boys who are at the front with 200+ points in Valentino Rossi and George Lorenzo. So I think it's going to go between the Italian and the Spaniard come the final 2 rallies of the year. And kudos to the British riders also for getting themselves on the podium for the first time since 1979. British racing has lacked someone to call her a hero since Richard Burns back in the day of when he was driving a McLaren. So you feel British sport, you know, even with Lewis Hamilton's resurgence, doesn't have a motor riding hero, but now with the emergence of Reading, you can feel they have some optimism going into, you know, the nearby future for the racing. As for these other 2, it's going to be between the 2 gentlemen, the Italian and the Spaniard, come the final 2 races this year.
Well, thank you very much, Arnold.
Thank you, Regis.
All right, you're watching Rise and Shine Rwanda. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Let's take a look now at news-making headlines here in Rwanda and around the world.
The police advisor at the UN Department of Peacekeeping Missions, Stephen Feller, has commended Rwandan peacekeepers in the Central African Republic for their professionalism and commitment in bringing peace and stability to the country. He delivered a message during the visit to the Rwanda-formed police unit base in the capital, Bangui. Mr. Feller noted that it was a big honor and pleasure to count Rwanda FPU among the MINUSCA peacekeeping force, which has promoted professional conduct and patriotism. Rwanda was the first country to deploy a contingent of 140 police officers in September last year under the United Nations Multi-Dimensional Integrated Stabilization Mission in CAR. They have been credited with several initiatives, including the introduction of Umuganda in Bangui as a homegrown solution to some of the socio-economic challenges the country faces.
The National Institution of Statistics of Rwanda has launched the country's fourth Integrated Household Living Conditions Survey 2013-2014. The survey provides an account of estimates of the level and examines poverty trends in comparison to the earlier surveys conducted, but also tracks the progress of the country's second Economic Development and Poverty Reduction Strategy, EDPRS2, turned to poverty and living conditions in the country. It's a reflection on poverty situation and the country's economic performance, especially in key sectors such as education, environment, agriculture, and manufacturing. It also helps the government and policymakers to make informed decisions on whether to focus and accelerate economic development. And international news, security forces in Egypt have mistakenly killed 12 people, including Mexican tourists, during an anti-terror operation. The tourists were traveling in 4 vehicles that entered a restricted zone in the Wahat area of the Western Desert. 10 Mexicans and Egyptians were also injured and are being treated in a local hospital. Mexico's President Enrique Pena Nieto commended the incident and said he had demanded an exhaustive investigation by the Egyptian government. The Mexican Foreign Ministry confirmed that at least 2 of its nationals had been killed and said it was working to confirm the identities of the other victims. The group of tourists were preparing to camp out of the vast Western Desert when they came under fire.
And United States President Barack Obama says that the image of a lifeless toddler who washed ashore on a Turkish beach after he and his family fled Syria should prompt action from the rest of the world, including the United States. President Obama said every country needed to do more to help alleviate the crisis and that the United States will accept at least 10,000 Syrian refugees in the next fiscal year. He also said the United States will try to eliminate some bureaucratic hurdles toward entering the country. The wrenching picture of a 3-year-old Aylan Kurdi laying face down on the sand after attempting to cross the Mediterranean with his family has come to embody the humanitarian crisis unfolding as hundreds of thousands of Syrians flee the civil war in their country. As they're attempting to reach countries in Western Europe, the refugees have encountered long treks by foot and crowded trains, and in some cases, governments unaccepting to additional migrants.
Okay, lots more still to come. We take a look at what's hot right now in a daily debate section, Hot Topics. We'll be right back.
Here is to traveling and saving. Starting 1st of April to the 1st of June, travel with Rwanda and take advantage of our reduced fares and enjoy our world-class services in great comfort and safety.
Fly our dream to the heart of Africa.
Welcome back, and it's that Hot Topics time again. As always, the Rise and Shine Rwanda team have been out and about, gathering everything you need to know about what's happening here and abroad. From what's trending on Twitter to the debates in your local cafe. We've got it for you right here and right now. All right, guys, so something that's really dear to Arnold's heart, and we talked about it yesterday, you tweeted heavily about it, is Janvier had his win in Brazzaville during the All-African Games. Now, it's not every day that we get to celebrate Rwanda winning in sports, especially international.
Especially when I've been hearing you guys complain about Amavubi for the
Absolutely. We complain about sports here in general. That's because we really deeply care about it.
Yes.
And it's rare that we have success stories when it comes to the sports
And when
world.
we have them, let's celebrate them.
Absolutely,
Exactly.
especially on the international level, because I mean, it's one thing to have domestic leagues that are doing good or domestic competitions, but when we can actually go out there and be on top of, first of all, making it to the podium is pretty great in itself. Being number one, nothing beats it, right?
I think kudos to Jadi. Sorry, to Hadi Janvier. He had his name's always, I don't know, mix up. But he has been the informed rider this year at not only at the Rwanda Cycling Cup, where he has won 2 of the 7 circuits so far available, but also he has been a great leader for this team. Don't forget, he's only 24 years old, Fidelis. Yeah, but he is an example of what you can do when you put your mind and work onto a project. Because when you look at the cycling story in Rwanda, it's only 8 years old. I'm talking about 8 years old, and we are ranked number 6 on the continent.
The sport that's doing the best in this country.
It is the best. It is. Cycling and cricket are the most organized sports. Unfortunately, cricket, the talent is not there as
much as it is in cycling.
Yeah, and cricket, it's a lot of technical factors that you need to go through. But even with their direction, you feel that there's going to be light at the end of the tunnel. Cycling continues to do wonders. There's the lady, Jirubunu. She was unfortunate not to win a medal. She finished number 4. And just by 3 microseconds off the medal standings. And this is a lady who has done cycling for only 2 years, competing against elite riders from Egypt, Eritrea, Ethiopia, South Africa, who have done cycling ever since they were 11, 12. They've been in pro cycling centers. The conditions they have are different.
And they have trainers and they have all these things. Yeah.
Yes, education background is very different. No one on the Rwanda cycling team has a secondary education, but these boys give it their all. Kudos to Coach Jonathan Boyer, of the African Riding Center. Kudos to Coach Felix Sempoma, who is in Brazzaville with those young boys. The whole team, it's a team effort. Joseph Alleluia, Bizi Yaremye, Valence Ndaisenga, who also won a bronze medal in the team trials. Kudos to the whole team and the lady, of course, Jiriwood.
You've just made like an official shout out. Man, I'm obviously very happy about this. I was fortunate enough, like I told you before, to participate, to be part of the Tour de Rwanda before. Yeah. And I saw how hard these guys work and how hard they train. So it's always really good to hear that, it's finally paying off and that they're representing Rwanda, of course, and, shining out there for us. So I'm really proud.
The Olympics should watch out. The Olympics should watch out.
Absolutely.
Now, the other hot topic that we have is probably something that everyone's talking about. So there's we're going to have the first ever Peace Day anthem that will premiere here on the Peace One Day on September 21st. Everyone's talking about it. We've seen it on TV. People are talking about it. And we're going to have some of like the biggest African stars come to Rwanda for this day.
When is this and who's coming?
Well, we have it on September 21st. And we'll have people like Ice Prince from Nigeria.
Zamani.
Maurice Kiria from Uganda, very famous people. Ali Kiba, one of my favorite, from Tanzania. I mean, it's just big names. Big names. People all coming to Kigali for this day. Are you looking forward to it? Will you be part of it?
Absolutely. Well, from all those you said, I know Ali Kiba and I know Ice Prince, but I want to know more of those who are going to be coming. But I'm
you don't know Maurice Kiria?
No.
He's very famous.
Very
good.
He's going to be your best act for the day.
For sure.
Okay.
Yes.
I know Mafik is always coming. I'm excited about that.
Mafik is but they're coming on a different, these ones are coming on a different day.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so those are the 3 main attractions.
Yeah, we have those. We have, so those are the main. And then we have Wangechi from Kenya. So these are basically just stars from all over all over Africa will be
Coca-Cola,
coming
Coke
together.
Studio, because
Yes.
all of them sound like they're
Yes,
from Coke Studio.
exactly. So all actually the anthem itself is going to be produced by Coke as the
Coca-Cola.
official Peace Day anthem.
Nice.
Really good stuff. And
I
it's
like
all
this.
happening here in Rwanda, people.
Right.
What's your take on this?
Well, it's a great, it's a great initiative. Ice Prince is one of my favorite
I
travelers.
know, right?
listen.
Doesn't hurt that Ice Prince will be coming.
It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
The
But
21st of September.
yeah, but the
21st
21st
of
of September
September.
has a very, very big thing.
You're going to be talking about a football game.
There's South Africa playing Rugby World
I
Cup.
can't deal with you. I can't deal with you and your games. And I'm done.
Starting September 18th, please, I'm off most of these programs. I'm
Right.
glued to that Rugby World Cup screen.
Now, there's something that's less joyful, guys, is what's taking place in a neighboring country, Burundi. I mean, we heard about it last week and during the weekend as well. Major General Nyongabo was ambushed. He was in a pickup and he was ambushed by other member of the army, of the military. Now, this is the army chief we're talking about. Now, Prim Nyongabo, there was a lot of things, a lot of rumors after the failed coup. And a lot of people didn't know exactly where to put him. Now remember, we're talking about a time after Adolphe was killed, after we know Bikomagu was killed.
Yes.
There's a lot of violence taking place in Bujumbura, unaccounted for. It's not like we're catching who did these things and putting them away. Arnold, I know you're very knowledgeable about these things. What's happening in Burundi?
I think the situation in Burundi is getting worse and very quelling. And the problem, it looks like there's no more attention being given to it. It has been left to the dogs, to the Burundians to sort out their own issues, which is unfortunate. We keep saying never again with whatever happens in a different part of the world. From here, we have first-hand experience in 1994 to Macedonia, to Yugoslavia. It's the same anthem, same story, and we tend to react when it's too late. Now, the Burundian government have been having this campaign all over social media and the likes where they are convincing people about the situation in Burundi. They are sending out their diplomats to other East African community members to tell them all is well in Burundi, but all doesn't seem well. From colleagues that we have on the ground who are still in Bujumbura.
Citizens?
Yes, because you don't have a civil rights association at all in Burundi. At the moment, the lawyers are running away, doctors are running away, systems are not working. We're going to reach a period where we're going to have starvation. Refugee numbers are just on the increase. Yeah, and now they've started the blame game of blaming other people for their atrocities. And as usual, we have to be pulled into their mud. But I think the Burundi situation, the international community, it was unfortunate their choice of a mediator for this crisis has a political crisis in his own country, which he needs, which he needs to sort out first. Yeah, and now he has the loss of one of his strong men, the Minister of Internal Affairs, Rwanda Nyakarima, having passed away over the weekend. But the Burundi situation should have been given to a former head of state. Probably the African Union should step in at this juncture, because it's already too late. It's already too late, but they can still quell a bit of the situation, and maybe we can have some level of diplomacy and fuse the worries in Burundi, because it's not looking very good from Bujumbura right now.
What I feel is even more sad about this is, in the back of my mind, I just keep on repeating, hearing that statement that one person made, and they said, if this were, let's say, Nigeria, where there's oil, where there's all these resources, something would have been done by now. But they're thinking there's not much for them to get in Burundi, so it's not worth, them putting their food. Exactly. So it's not worth putting their full effort into trying to stop it. It's really unfortunate that there's still deaths going on, and like I said, I also feel like the East African community, I mean, we are supposed to be a community, so that whenever the European Union, all these other organizations are not stepping in, we already find we try and solve our own situations. But I feel like at the same time also being a bit in the back, in the shadows, and not really doing much. So I
think the East African community kind of contradicts its agenda, and it's looking more of an economical blog rather than a wholesale unity, political and everything blog. It only works when we're trying to push an economic agenda, an East African tourism visa, trying to have industries get investors get interested in investing in the East African community. But when it comes to matters of the heart, it looks like everyone is left to sort out their own issues, which is that's no East African community living. That's no communal living in there.
Well, it's very unfortunate, but don't forget, we love to hear your thoughts, comments, and feedback on what we're talking about here on Rise and Shine Rwanda. Tweet us at Rise and Shine RW. Like us on Facebook and send us your ideas for programs. Check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda YouTube page where you can catch all the shows and the reports that we do. Find us on Instagram, Rise and Shine RW. We love to see your pictures. Or check out our Rise and Shine Rwanda website, www.riseandshinerwanda.rw.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. We love to hear your feedback, so do let us know if you have an idea for the program. You've been watching Rise and Shine Rwanda with me, Regis Isheja.
And me, Fidelis Karang. We'll be back here same time, same place tomorrow, so do join us then. But for now, from the both of us, Arnold here and the rest of the Rise and Shine Rwanda team, have a very good day. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.